Hello everyone, it's QuestQuenchers here, and we have got more Starfield news. Thank you. I was talking about a video not long ago, and it's like I just want to know what's happening, what's going on in the universe, and Bethesda have released some information. So what we have sort of the story so far, basically. So in 2050, humans first arrived on Mars. By 2100, humans are living in space. So yeah, so that's what's going on. No, there's more, but still, I want to discuss this point because I was very interested because it kind of, I'm guessing it's sort of tracking from our reality. So this is what, it's coming from our universe, so everything sort of happened chronologically, down, like they do with the Fallout franchise, but it splits off and stuff like that. So that's very interesting to see. So humans first arrive on Mars. By 2100, humans are living in space. So between, that time and the next timeline, we somehow have developed grav drives and quantum leaping or something like that. So I think it's it's called a grav drive. You have to power up your grav drive and fly into space. So at some point they've managed to, go Eureka. We've got, the engine ready. So by 2156, humans arrive at Alpha Centauri, 4.37 light years away from Earth. That's a massive jump, and it's it's 106 years between then and that time, which is very interesting because I really want to know sort of the mechanics of. Hopefully, there's a document somewhere in the game explaining how a grav drive works and stuff like that, and a little bit mechanical. I hope they managed to, kind of go off our physics and stuff like that, and what elements, what powers this stuff, and I hope they've, twisted reality in a way and be like, hey, we found this new compound and stuff like that. That's how you explain it in some way. Like, what was what was like all the conspiracy theories going like element 115 and stuff like that, and I find that so interesting. So hopefully they incorporate something like that. That it was maybe an element created by us instead of the aliens or whatever. Or we discovered some hydrogen, fuel source in space that powers everything and stuff like that. So 2159, the United Colonies are established. So yeah, we see that some sort of colony arrives at Alpha Centauri. They probably start colonizing places, spread off from each other and stuff, but keeping communications and on all that stuff. And then in 2160, a year later, New Atlantis is founded and becomes the official capital city of the United Colonies. Oh, that's in 2161, so a year later it becomes the official capital, which is very interesting. That's really I'm glad we're getting a bit of history. It's kind of getting me excited because I think if they're discussing New Atlantis so early, that's going to be sort of, well, it is a main settlement, but I'm hoping there's a lot of more history and like faces that appear throughout history, which is interesting. So then in 2167, Cheyenne is settled by Solomon Co., who founds its first settlement named Aquila City, which is, I believe, Solomon Co. is probably related to Samco. I believe it's Samco, and one of the companions, probably a descendant from him. And then 2188, Co. invites, I think it's called Vol 2, to join Cheyenne in a new alliance. So it must have been another planet or another system that's been colonized by humans, and they reach out and go, hey, you want to come with us? And the Free Star Collective is joined. So I'm guessing that Solomon Co. separated from either New Atlantis to go, you know what, I can't stand yous, I'm leaving, and sets up its own stuff elsewhere with a group of people. So I'm wondering if there's, this is sort of like a hint of what's been going on. Because throughout this thing, it's not going to paint the United Colonies in a nice way, which I was kind of predicting that I think that's the way it's going to go. Because for me, they're giving, like I said, a Brotherhood of Steel Fallout 4 version, a bit not nice. So yeah, so Next up, we're in 2194. The United Colonies position their star station called the Clinic in orbit around Deepla in the Nararian system. I think it's called Deepla. Deepla? In the Nararian... all these words are hard to say. In the Nararian system, the unaffiliated peoples of the Nararian system see this as a UC attempt to expand their borders and demand the United Colonies to remove the clinic. When the UC refuses to remove the clinic, the people of I can't say it, sorry. Nararion vote to join the Freestar Collective, who mobilized to protect the system in 2195. Alright, that's cool. So we can see tensions are starting to rise when the UC just starts, moving in stuff into systems that seems to not be part of like any like colonized like the UC or the Freestar Collective, but eventually join the Freestar Collective because the UC is sort of coming in, be like, hey, we're winning this here. And they're like, oh, why are you winning this here? And if they're not communicating properly, it's going to lead to some sort of bust up down the line. So in 2190, in response to the Freestar mobilization, the UC moves a fleet into the Nararian system, and the Freestar responds in kind. The Nararian... Oh, a war begins. The Nararian war begins. Oh, so, yeah, humans still like fighting each other. It's nice to see that it doesn't change in this game. So in 2216... Oh, okay, so a few years later... Oh my god, the Nararian War drags on as the public sentiment sours. Finally, the Treaty of Nararian is signed by the UC and the Freestar Collective in 2260. And I need to turn my phone to silent. There we go. So that's very interesting. So that ends the conflict, and the terms settled systems is formalized in the treaty. So yeah, that's very interesting. So settled systems, hopefully that means like everyone that's on a planet that's got some sort of society running like what they had in Nararian. And so yeah, but they're part of the Freestar Collective now, so that's interesting. So in 2221, I wish that was 2222, because that's a nice number. The Freestar Rangers are founded as an elite protective and investigative force dedicated to serving all citizens of the Freestar Collective. Now that's cool. So these guys sound like kind of like their own sheriffs. They're like elite people that help serving citizens. So they sound like, a dedicated police force, which is interesting. So in 2275, Constellations is formed by Sebastian Banks. That's a cool name. Original members include Chloe Bow, accomplished physicist, AJ Mamaza, sorry, the youngest member and Sebastian's protege. Oh, sweet, nice. Darius Andreas, I think that's how you say it. Andreas, maybe. A botanist and a specialist in the... that's interesting. Exuberant flora, Bernadette Laurent. Wealthy heiress and adventurer. Oh, interesting. Everett Gill, former smuggler. And Kadrea, I think Kadria Toma, biologist and physician. Now, I probably butchered all those names, so I do apologize. I need to actually hear names in order to say them properly, which is an annoying quirk of being me. The lodge is built in New Atlantis to serve the needs of the people of Constellations for a generation to come. So that's interesting. So in 2305, Barrett joins Constellations. That's pretty cool. The Freestar Collective begins farming on the planet of Vesta in the Lunaris system. By 2308, the United Colonies claimed that establishing a colony in the fourth star system, the Freestar Collective has violated a treaty of Nurern. Oh, great. Diplomatic talks break down and the UC laid siege to Vesta, killing anyone who stayed behind or was brought in to defend it. The colony war officially begins. Oh, dear. So yeah, the UC is not looking good right now, and I did think that they wouldn't be looking good, to be honest. It's just the way they present themselves, I guess. Constellations comes into possession of the first artifact and tucks it away in the Constellation archives. Okay, that's interesting. So I'm guessing Barrett didn't see it, if it just got tucked away, or he just didn't understand what he got. So he must have had a vision when he touched it or something. After several years of conflict, the Connolly War effectively comes to an end with the Battle of Cheyenne, as a flotilla of civilian and military Freestar Collective ships takes down the major ship of the UC Navy using hit-and-run tactics. Guerrilla warfare. Effective, but necessary in this timeline. So the UC Vanguard is founded as a part of the UC response to the Freestar Collective's use of civilian ships during the Colony War. The Vanguard is the UC's own civilian navy, relying on civilians using their own ships who pledge to protect the United Colonies and its interests. The ultimate reward for this service is citizenship in the United Colonies. Great. So, then we get introduced. So that was in 2315, and the war effectively ended in 2311. So that's interesting. And then Sarah Morgan joins the UC as a navigator, although it was short-lived because they kind of downsized and split up the division in 2320. And then she joins Constellations, which is interesting. So that was in 2319. 2319. If anyone gets a Monsters Inc. reference, there it is, 2319. In 2321, Walter Stroud, Stroud, that's a cool name, co-owner of Stroud, I can't say the last word, Stroud Eckeld, one of the Settled Systems premier starship manufacturers. That's cool. Constellations, and becomes its primary financial backer. Interesting. In 2322, I wish that was 2323, former Crimson Fleet pirate Vladimir Sal joins Constellations. That's pretty cool. In 2325, Sarah Morgan becomes the acting chair of Constellations. That's pretty good. In 2325, theologian Matteo joins Constellations. In 2326, Barrett finds the original artifact in the Constellations archive and knows it must be special. I reckon that means he must have a vision of some sort, because he discusses in the trailer that he has visions of the like and stuff like that. So I think that's probably what happened. So he's probably effectively like another chosen one in a way, like our character will probably be. So also in the same year, after months of correspondence with Sarah Morgan, graduate student and gifted scientist Noel is invited to Constellations. So that's cool. And then in 2327, the Freestar Ranger Sam Coe and his daughter Cora. He has a daughter. Join Constellations. That's pretty cool. In 2328, Andrea, just one name, joins Constellations. In 2328, Barrett convinces Constellations to purchase a star station, L868. Sorry, it looks a bit odd on my screen, and modify it to become the Deep Space Scanner, nicknamed the Eye. So imagine that'll be detecting some sort of artifact radiation in some way in order to detect it. And then in 2330 AD, Starfield begins. So yeah, that's sort of what Bethesda has released so far about what is actually the timeline. And I hope there's like there's a log of this somewhere, or an intro to the game with it that has sort of this intro saying, hey, in the year, humans, kind of a bit like Mass Effect again, what I said in my previous video. But yeah, I am super happy to be seeing this kind of stuff. It's more it's exactly what I asked for in the last video, so to have it come through is quite funny. So yeah, that's been the video, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.